Café Anyway. Oh, yes. Okay.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
Here at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, and Mike Matthews. This is going to be a real busy week.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And whenever I make plans for something that takes me out of the area, things start to go crazy, and I go into a sort of hysteria because people want my time, and they don't like it when I get on a flight. And I don't like going on flights these days because
Mike's Daily Podcast.
everything is a Boeing, and everything is like the same plane that the stuff fell off on,
Mike's
or the brake stopped,
Daily
or the wheel fell off,
Podcast.
or bolts fell off.
Yeah!
All these things happening. And I gotta fly. So I'm not happy about that. And then work does all these little things that make me think I need to stay. Because other people are also taking off. So it is just, I'm gonna do my best. And hopefully everyone will around me. You gotta have faith in your staff sometimes, right? It's FM episode 2780, 2780. And be you a man or a lady, I would like to say to you, thank you for listening to the show. I know there are a gazillion other podcasts because everybody thinks they can do a podcast. So all these people are podcasting. When you can take a Zoom call and make it into a podcast, that's the kind of world we are in. And I think back to when I started podcasting 15 years ago and going, oh, this is great. Because up until that point, if you wanted to express your opinion in a talk show type format, you only had the radio, and there were very few people that were allowed to speak on the radio. You had your Rush Limbaugh and the guy that I knew from college, Sean Hannity, because he went to UCSB.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I don't think he took any classes, but he somehow got to do a show on KCSB, the radio station at UCSB. So, hey, and we were talking about, the last podcast was called Announcer. And that is what I became. I was actually a DJ before he was, but I was doing the music thing, which he found a much more lucrative way to do radio, and that is express your crazy opinion. Hey, look, it's the late, great Basil the Boxer. And he is wondering, as probably you are, what the podcast picture is today. And I know you are, and I know it's going to be something recent. Something of interest. Possibly when my cousin was visiting from Germany lately. They are now in New Zealand. And I don't think they're going to be there much longer, but they have seen already the Hobbit place. They've gone to some volcano. They've gone all over. And good for them. But hey, they don't seem to be afraid of the flying issues about planes falling apart and whatnot. Of course, the big question is, when will I get married? No, it's not. Maybe it's a question for you. The average cost of a California wedding now is, get this.
This show is clean.
It is clean. Pretty much. $36,000 for a California wedding. As it turns out, love does cost a thing. J-Lo. $36,000. Actually, it's $36,068 for a California wedding. The average cost of a wedding in the U.S. will top $33,000 average this year. Which wedding expenses cost the most? Let's see. Well, let's start with the least expensive. That would be your photographer. They're going to cost between $4,000 to $7,000. Did I add the tip in there? I probably did not. Then you've got your DJ. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Fabagoo. Things to do.
Put a record on and do the Fabagoo. And that was a local Podcastro Valley website that told you what to do, what fun things to do. And I used to have the guy that created the website on my show. But that has since gone the way of other fads that have dissipated. Like, for example, the poodle skirt. I don't even know what that is, but people always seem to bring up the poodle skirt. Oh, is that a 1950s thing? Okay. So a band or a DJ will cost between $2,000 to $7,000. Then you've got catering, which is around $6,500 to $10,000. And then the wedding venue, which will cost you between $6,500 to $12,000. The cheapest wedding expenses is the cake. That'll cost between $600 to $900. The ceremony music, that's the music during the whatever in the church. Maybe I was just at a wedding in a Catholic church, and they had a mariachi band performing, and they did all the Catholic songs and hymns.
This is Mike's Podcast Picnic.
Yes, let's do a podcast picnic from a church. Wait, do they allow eating in churches? If it's the communion thing, but not the rest of the time. You really shouldn't bring your lunch into a church, is what they're saying. Eat outside. Eat in the nice surrounding gardens next to the little fountain. It's so pretty. And then finally, hair and makeup. That's going to be between $550 and
Addenda with Kevin.
That's who got married, actually, was my friend Kevin. $850 possibly for hair and makeup. Then there's the wedding planner, who can cost up to $5,000. The photographer I mentioned earlier, about up to $7,000. Videographer up to $6,000. Flowers up to $6,000, and transportation could be well above $1,200. So as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, somewhere in Ameritopica with all these topicas.
Anyway.
At Café Anyway, a lovely place to get married, by the way. You can save by opting for digital save the dates instead of mailing out invitations, which my friend Kevin did. He sent out a digital email situation where you clicked on that and there was a beautiful website and you signed in and you could do all the paying for the wedding present and all that.
A flying saucer.
Ah, that would be a nice wedding present, a flying saucer. So that seems to be the way things are going. Away from the poodle skirt and more towards...
When you are a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Digital invitations. Select an off-peak date, which is what Kevin did. He got married in February, right at the beginning. So definitely an off-peak date, since that is more. People get married more in June, July, August. 87%.
I got into it.
87% of couples now add a cash fund option to their registry, which is something that my friend Kevin did. And you can also, if you want to really save money, be upfront with your significant other that eloping is an option. Elope.
You know, I mean, people get stuck on stupid. You know what I mean?
Maybe not the best idea, but some people do that. I mean, don't you want to celebrate with your friends? Adam Sandler was the highest paid actor of 2023. Adam Sandler.
Mike is on it, man.
Go where no man has gone before.
We love it, Mike.
I have occasionally been told that I have an Adam Sandler voice. I definitely looked like Adam Sandler when I was younger. I think, a year older, or maybe he's a year older, but we're right around the same age. And when he was younger, oh my gosh, same thing, same curly hair. When I was younger, I mean, just like
MTV
him.
News.
Yeah.
You hear it first.
And he was on MTV. He was on Remote Control. Billy Madison trumps Barbie. Adam Sandler was officially named the highest paid actor of 2023, according to Forbes. The 10 highest paid actors earned a combined total of $449 million. Sandler took home $73 million, and that would be a $97 million gross thanks to his lucrative Netflix deal. And he did 44 stand-up.
Holding court with Lady Katie.
I don't know if he did stand-up for Lady Katie, but he did do 44 stand-up comedy shows. There's a little Adam Sandler-ish voice. He starred in 8 films for Netflix. He produced some of it. He has a $250 million deal with Netflix. Subscribers spent over 500 million hours watching Adam and his films. This was in the first 6 months of last year. My friend Jarrell does not watch Adam Sandler, I don't think. Don't think he's a fan. He liked the Goofy movie that came out years ago and was big on VHS. Margot Robbie was number 2, according to Forbes, with a take-home of $59 million. Of course, she was in Barbie. Tom Cruise was number 3 at $45 million. Remember when he was on top? Largely
travel into the incredible universe.
Largely in part due to Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. And it's interesting he's calling it a Part 1 because, you know, we're at Mission Impossible, I think 6, 7. Am I even in the right ballpark there? In the ballpark area of that number? I know he's done quite a few. So, but now he says Part 1 with the latest Mission Impossible because he will do another. And there will be a lot of stunts he does, but there'll be a lot of CGI, just over the top stunts like they do in the Fast and Furious franchise now. Crazy cars flying through buildings, just flying. When do we stop calling it Fast and Furious and call it Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Magnification.
Dick Van Dyke in a flying car. And the toy maker was played by Benny Hill. Ryan Gosling. Oh, and you want to talk about movies that are scary for kids to watch? That one, like, kids are being held prisoner and they're slaves. It's pretty dark. In Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's a bizarre movie because you don't know, is it a dream sequence? What's going on? Ryan Gosling and Matt Damon both follow all the rest that I just mentioned with $43 million. Ryan Gosling, partly because of course, Barbie. But, you know, where is Ryan Reynolds in all of this? Because he's quite the entrepreneur as well with his mobile phone company and his alcohol.
The Royal Trump tweet decree.
Oh, and Trump gave basically a thumbs up to TikTok. Remember when he was president? It was all, we're going to take TikTok down. We're not going to have it. It's not going to be around. It's run by the Chinese. But now he's using it to get back at Mark Zuckerberg by saying TikTok is okay. Yeah, you should go on TikTok. Don't do the thing, Mark Zuckerberg, because I hate him. Because he took me off. Elon Musk put me back, but I hate Mark Zuckerberg because Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are fighting each other, and I hope they do have a cage match someday. But, you know, I love the TikTok. Oh, of all the things, I'm one of those folks that doesn't trust TikTok. I know, I just listened to a podcast today from the Wall Street Journal about how the Chinese government may have a hand, not just in TikTok, but possibly in, I'm getting a call, but possibly in the cranes that you see.
On the world.
Oh, yes, that is Welsh. My friend Robert Owen Welsh, he was visiting recently. And so we got the AT&T. We told Xfinity to go disappear, go away. And we got AT&T thinking, Comcast is going to be so because Comcast was really giving us a hard time. They had a massive dropout in our area, and they increased the amount, and we were getting nothing, hardly any speed, any the what do you call it? The uploading speed, the downloading speed, all of that was really slow compared to
Pretty
others.
much.
Yeah. So AT&T's got fiber in my neighborhood, so we went with that. Well, they were telling us, hey, just to let you know, the Welshes were telling us that, hey, our the mother and father-in-law they had AT&T, and you know what happened? The AT&T took a week. Their internet somehow got disconnected, and it took a week for them to have it fixed. So, and I still have a hole in my wall that AT&T put in, thinking that they were going to go through the wall in order to put in the fiber. And it's all about in life. You make sure you get a lot of fiber in your diet. Well, getting fiber for your internet is a lot different, because then what happens is they drill a hole and they never got it. It's a hole in the wall now.
Bans mutations.
I mean, okay, maybe that's a cool place to hide things, this big old hole in the wall, but they found another way to bring in the fiber. And the point is that they are saying to me, hey, we'll pay for the repair, but you got to hire a contractor. We'll pay for everything, but you have to do all the legwork first and pay for everything and get the contractor out. Anyway, it's just crazy, this whole cable world. And I know at my work, I was talking about this on the last podcast, they shut down the internet. So it's just, we're at their mercy, is my point. And that's why people are worried about cranes, not Ukraine so much as the cranes locally, that they're being run by the Chinese government somehow, because there's all these modems, and maybe the Chinese government can shut down the cranes so that we can't unload cargo anymore.
As you know, there's a real scary holiday coming up.
St. Patrick's Day. Oh my gosh. I got to get ready for St. Patrick's Day, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of that isn't verified yet. It's just a fear, and the Biden administration is going to put a lot of money into fixing up a lot of the harbors, a lot of the ports where the cargo gets taken off the ships. And some of this money may go into American companies to start building cranes, because right now there are no American companies that build those big cranes that unload the big cargo ships. There's some places in Europe, but they cost a lot more to bring them in. China is cheaper, but at what price, I guess, is the question. The Coachella Festival is going to release an NFT collectible that will serve as a VIP access pass.
Magnification.
Plus, you can get access to the amenity-filled lounge. Sounds like something hip that the young people will spend a crazy amount of money on. And it's basically worthless, because once that event is over with, it's just all that money's gone. Then the price is not right. The Biden administration, speaking of them again, talking about them, has formed a strike force to curb high prices, escalating its greedflation fight. And President Biden will address that. Oh, he addressed that actually in the State of the Union. And airlines are upping bag fees and beefing. That was another thing that Biden wanted to fight, the airline prices, airline fees. But airlines are upping bag fees, and they have a problem with fanny packs. They collected a record $33 billion in luggage fees last year alone. And there was an increase of $5 to existing bag fees on the airlines Delta, American.
Cassette copy.
Oh, I took many a cassette on an airplane trip. Many a cassette. And listened to all kinds of great stuff that would then be warped by the time I landed, because the batteries would run out. But yes, the airlines Delta, American Airlines, United, JetBlue, and Alaska Airlines, all issuing a $5 increase to existing bag fees. Southwest still provides flyers with 2 free checked bags, but it's still cracking down on extra carry-on items. So they have to be careful with that. Oh, Victoria's Secret plunged 28%. Their stock did after issuing disappointing guidance. And there's a crypto perfume called Binance. What does crypto smell like? Ozone, salt, and moss. That's the Binance new fragrance called Crypto. And that's that. All that from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He talks all things money. And he is on the radio live in the 6 a.m. hour and the 8 a.m. hour, Monday through Friday on AM 1220 KDOW in the Bay Area, and then on television on Cron TV, Monday through Thursday. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, look who's here. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega, and I love perfume. Ooh. Do you love cable companies? Yes. Do you love crypto? Yes. Do you love everything I just asked you about? No. Ah. It's kind of a contradiction.
Kathy's Corner.
Kathy's Corner. Let's hear it for all the Kathys out there. Okay. And who else is here right now?
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, so I heard that some guy from AT&T knocked on your door and said that I've taken down your internet because I accidentally took away the internet from the guy across the street.
Yeah, crazy story. Do you know that? Yes, that's what happened. Isn't that wild? So he said, yeah, I got to shut down your internet because when we installed your internet, we accidentally took away someone else's internet. This is crazy. This is like the Old Testament stuff. This is like, oh, I made you king, so now I have to kill your son? I don't know. I read that somewhere in the Bible. Didn't that happen? Anyway, Café Anyway. Hopefully things get a little more sane around here. But next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. Did anything like this ever happen to you? Ask the horse. And then call in.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And you know, when you go eat at Der Wiener Schnitzel, they often are in these little buildings called A-frames. Well, let's hear it for A-frame. She's going to tell you the rest of the stuff, the rest of the ways, the rest of the story, and the rest of how you can contact me. Here she is.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.